Your hormones are made in your your reproductive hormones. So when people talk about, am I going to run out of hormones? As I get older, do my hormones decrease in amount or decrease in quantity? The answer is yes and no. There's lots of things that can cause your body to produce less hormones. Essentially, for women, the ovaries is where the vast majority of your hormones are made. And for men, the testes is where the majority of your hormones are made. And it's the relative health of those and function of those reproductive organs is what dictates how much of that hormone is able to be made. So your brain sends signals to the ovaries and to the testes with instructions, kind of like a purchase order, to say, here's how much hormone we need. And if your ovaries and your testes are well resourced and you've got lots of good blood flow and lots of nutrients there, and the mitochondrial function of the cells in those organs is good, then you're going to be able to produce a healthy response to those messages that come from the brain. And the messages that come from the brain are consistent. As women head towards menopause and beyond, and a similar phenomenon happens with men called andropause. It happens sort of from 50 to 55, 60 years and beyond as well, where the overall levels of the reproductive hormones decrease. But the brain signals, FSH and LH, will usually be quite high once someone hits that point in their life. So the brain's still saying, hey, we want more of this, but the reproductive organs themselves are less responsive to those signals from the brain. And we often speak of this as some kind of irreversible process. It's kind of like you're on a train and it's just destined for a single destination. Once you're on it, you can't get off. To a certain extent, that is true, but there's a lot that you can do to slow that down. And depending on the circumstances around what's happening with your health, you can, in some circumstances, you can actually turn that back to a certain extent. So we can see women that go into early menopause, for example, they may have been going through a period of intense stress. They might have had some kind of significant depleted state that came along. They might have had a severe illness. They might have been shift workers who were also intentionally or unintentionally eating a low nutrient diet or a low calorie diet. There's lots of life circumstances that can come along that can cause the body to stop making hormones for a particular period of time, or to really slow that down. And we could do a blood test. We can say, yep, this blood test proves that you're in menopause or that you're in perimenopause. But over time, if you can turn around those conditions, if that's the reason why your hormones have stopped being produced in the normal or expected quantity, then we're able to see those numbers come back more into a normal range.